Nithya Raman are battling it out for the second spot in the runoff, with the right to face Karen Bass.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Ken's Corner. We seem to be getting better at being consistent, and they say that consistency is the best part of life in accomplishing anything. So without further ado, let's introduce our panel. First, of course, it is Ken's Corner, and we are in his corner. So Ken, how are you doing, my brother?
Howdy ho. How's everybody? How you doing? I'm just cruising. It's hot up here, man. It's hot finally.
Oh.
Got some summer weather coming.
72 degrees in Los Angeles as we enjoy the wonderful weather that is granted us by Her Majesty Miss Bass.
Yes.
Future mayor of Los Angeles, Stan. Brett, how are you doing, my brother?
Doing it's same thing, just enjoying it and going along for the ride.
All right. Well, I will do my best to be your chauffeur as we proceed down the road and the highway of today's news topics. That being said, we have traditions here. We'd like to stick to our traditions, much like the Orthodox and Catholics. So let's begin with your shirt. What is that like? Is that like the snake of the 13 colonies right there?
It's get fit or die. Yes, it's yeah. I don't know if it's a snake. I know that a lot of people who believe this have that as an emblem. Maybe I don't know.
Well, yeah, it has. Remember the old flag of the United States was "Join or Die."
Yeah.
Yes, that's
chopped up. That's the snake chopped up.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, it's get fit or die. That's it.
Amen.
I was working out today and I was thinking about what shirt to wear, and this is the one that came to my mind. I know I've worn it before. It's one of my favorites. So yep.
It's a very nice one. I like it very much.
Thank you.
And for those that do not know, Ken and Brett will be doing a Mawashi Giri, which is a roundhouse kick in Shotokan karate to the enemies of the truth.
Hi.
Oh, wow.
That was a set.
Wow. I couldn't even see your leg move, bro.
I went around so fast. And
so
I sat
fast.
back. Yeah, and then I sat back down. Yeah.
Bruce Lee has nothing on you.
Nothing on me.
If he was the dragon, you are definitely the dragon tiger.
Yes, I'm the dragon slayer.
There you go. I like that. Seriously, now our first story. Ken, Israel, Iran, Russia, and the United States are all moving deeper into what looks uncomfortably like a gift shop entrance to World War III.
Ooh.
But don't worry, the modern world is handling it with courage, wisdom, and statesmanship, by which I mean we are doom scrolling on TikTok and YouTube, arguing about celebrity divorces and watching people do restaurant reviews, while the Strait of Hormuz flirts with becoming the world's most expensive parking lot. This is the age in which we live. The missiles are real, the alliance are shifting, and the war rooms are active, and half the population is one algorithm away from asking, wait, did something happen?
People aren't paying attention. It's like, what's going on, guys? Most people don't seem to realize that we are already in World War III right now. What the vast majority of population is still convinced that what we are experiencing is just temporary, and that peace is just around the corner. Be faithful, okay? Ever since Russia invaded Ukraine in early 2022, there have been endless headlines about a potential peace deal. In the Middle East, there have been some short-term ceasefires since Hamas invaded Israel in October 2023, but fighting has always erupted again. So those that expect some sort of peace deal in the Middle East that will actually be permanent are just being delusional. The conflict on the Middle East and root cause of the conflict is deeply spiritual. That's what you got to understand. And goes back thousands of years. I mean, read the Bible. Western leaders simply don't understand how much Shiite leaders hate Israel. It is literally central to their identity. The only way for them to give the hatred up is to have them denounce the Shia Islam entirely. Many Westerners have never heard that 1985, I didn't hear this either, 1985 document that established Hezbollah openly states that the entire purpose of the organization is to obliterate Israel. That's crazy. So, common sense and biblical sense, there is never going to be a peace deal between Hezbollah and Israel. We can see that. The past week, Israelis conducted a lot more airstrikes and moved deeper into Lebanese territory. I'm going to talk about that later on too. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has declared publicly that Israel is now at war with Hezbollah. So why is Israel doing this? Many people don't know, because the big networks have not been covering it. Over the past couple of months, Hezbollah has fired thousands of drones and rockets at Israel. If someone fired thousands of drones or rockets at Washington, D.C. or New York, we would literally nuke them. So personally, I'm surprised Israel has shown restraint for as long as it has. Hezbollah has been warned over and over again, but they aren't going to stop. So Israeli troops are going further north in Lebanon. Meanwhile, the current ceasefire between U.S. and Iran has been compromised. A freshly released statement by Iran says that Israel will not live to see another 15 years. That's crazy. Iran's goal is to wipe Israel off the map. That goal has never changed. As the war in Ukraine is building up to a grand crescendo, the conflict in the Middle East, you could say the same thing. And guess who is going to be involved in both of them? So World War III is here, and we are getting even deeper into it with each passing day. Maranatha, Maranatha, Maranatha.
Ken, more to the point, though, my question is, are we going to continue to deal with a nation that says that Israel has 15 years left before they're going to be destroyed? Yeah. Is that a person you want to have any type of negotiations with?
No, it's nuts. I just think the next chapter of World War III, it just erupted in the Middle East, and nobody's going to be able to stop the chaos that's ahead. So I'll go into my next story. The Great Middle East War has been raging for 2.5 years, but the vast majority of populations still don't understand the full importance of the conflict. This isn't just another Middle Eastern crisis that will come and go. Unfortunately, the truth is that this is the big one. It just gets worse from here. It just does. For weeks, the mainstream media has been assuring us that a permanent deal with Iran is imminent and that we would finally see peace in the Middle East. Yeah, right. Prophecy people knew there was no way that there was going to be a permanent deal. I've stated to people that a permanent deal was impossible. I have some people who are clients that are major Trump supporters. I've talked about them before. They thought I was dead wrong, and how negotiations between the U.S. and Iran have completely broken down now. And when Trump initially learned that the Iranians had terminated peace talks, he responded that he couldn't care less because the negotiation had started to be very boring. But I guess he did care. He quickly got on the phone with leaders of Israel and Hezbollah, and even cheered, but even everyone cheered. But shortly thereafter, Hezbollah fired more rockets at northern Israel. So Hezbollah is not going to stop, and the Iranians don't want them to stop. So the fact that Revolutionary Guard has been secretly encouraging Hezbollah to step up the intensity of their attacks. And if rockets and drones keep raining down on northern Israel, there will be consequences. At Trump's request, Benjamin Netanyahu called off a planned attack on Beirut. And in his conversation with Trump, he warned that if Hezbollah does not stop firing rockets and drones, the operation to hit Beirut will go on ahead. Also, the Iranians are willing to, are telling the U.S. that there will be no more talks until every Israeli soldier is completely out of Lebanon. That's crazy. That's not happening. The Iranians also warned that those living in northern Israel will be in great danger if the IDF ends up attacking southern Beirut. So the district emphasized it does not promote any religion. Where am I at? Oh, sorry. Will Iran soon start firing ballistic missiles at Israel cities once again? Could happen. The Iranians are now and always in a fighting mood, and they certainly aren't afraid to pull the trigger.
Ken, let me ask you a question. You said that we've been in a war for 2 years.
Yeah.
I would largely agree with that assessment. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that the powder keg that began this Middle East war was the October 7th? So it was initiated by attacks on Israel and has continued ever since, because in my estimation, it seems like Iran, through Hezbollah, is very much in coordination with Hamas in Gaza.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely. Yep. Yeah.
So where do you see us going in the next few months, if not years?
I'm surprised like everybody, but yet I know that what the Bible says and what it says about last days, and I truly believe we're living in those times that we were living in. That I truly believe that we're close. Iran's not going anywhere. Iran is staying because of Ezekiel 38. I mean, that's the and they have a strong demon, Daniel 10, the prince of the power of Persia. I mean, that's a strong demon. And so much so that that Gabriel was needed Michael's help in getting through to Daniel, So that's a crazy story. You guys want to read a crazy story, read Daniel 10. And that's the entity behind Iran right now. It's the same one. The same one. And it's very powerful.
Well, and it's like you were saying, this isn't just a physical conflict. This is a religious war.
Yep.
And it's a spiritual war.
Yep.
And I'm no fan of Iran, but what is their incentive for backing down?
Yeah.
Like in their theology, they believe they can bring the Mahdi on. They need to cause World War III to bring the Mahdi back.
You remember Ahmadinejad? That's what he always. That's what he talked about. He talked about.
So they have, if anything, they have an incentive to keep this going.
Yeah,
and that's what a lot of people don't in these negotiations. It's a joke because they're not taking any of that into account.
No, because they don't have the spiritual aspect or the understanding. They don't.
Yeah,
they don't. And Trump is just above his pay grade, I think, as far as that goes.
This isn't a real estate deal.
Yeah, this isn't. Yeah, he needs to truly get saved and really see what's coming, and study end times, last days.
Let me ask you a question, following up with you, Brett. In your opinion, in the next few years, in the few months, what does this mean for the average civilian of the West? Considering that I agree with Ken that we are going to be heading to deeper conflict in the Middle East. But what is the impact going to be for your average American family, for your average family in Western Europe?
Wow. I mean, from everything I've read, Europe's actually heading into not even a recession, but a depression.
Yeah.
They've spent so much money in Ukraine. They need to go into that. They need the resources in Ukraine. And that's what it's all been behind, the $75 trillion in resources that they have.
Yeah.
And they thought that it was going to be, something easy. And it's, as we see, it's been dragging on. And I don't think there's any end soon. And you're just going to see continued. And again, this goes back to the Bible. You're going to see continued food shortages, famines, and that's best case scenario. I mean, if the war escalates, what's, causing Russia from, using a tactical nuke too, as well.
Yeah.
It could get a lot worse. Best case scenario, you're looking at your EU going into a depression, huge food shortages, and it doesn't look good.
You bring up a very good point. So let me see if I can work my head around this. So by 2030, there's going to be a depression in Europe 100 years after the depression
Mm.
in Europe.
Mm.
Cycles, baby.
Cycles.
Just like the Bible.
Yep.
That's uncanny.
Yeah.
Speaking of Germany, meine Damen und Herren, willkommen in der neuen Säkularum Ordnung. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz is reportedly floating a special EU status for Ukraine. Not full membership, mind you. More like a velvet rope. You can stand near the table, but don't touch the silverware. Which raises the only question that truly matters. Are Zelensky and Merz secretly besties? Or are we watching a soft launch of a very expensive geopolitical joint venture? Only time will tell as Ukraine's democracy continues to be lovingly preserved by canceling elections, extending emergencies, and assuring us that the new billion-dollar package is definitely not for freedom, reform, and absolutely has nothing to do with a Swiss bank.
Schnitzel, Bier und Leberkäse, Sauerkraut und frisches Brot. In der Heimat ist am schönsten, da geht's mir richtig gut.
Take it away.
Or yachts and mansions. So what do you get for being one of the most corrupt countries on the planet? Well, you get an invitation from German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, who is now pushing a proposal that would allow Ukraine to become a, quote, associate member of the EU. And many of you might be going, what's an associate member? Well, it's a new category that they made up that would allow Ukraine to participate in summits, ministerial meetings, and give them a portion of the EU's budget plus coverage under the bloc's mutual defense clause, and all without formal membership. This would basically put the EU directly into war with Russia. Merz even admitted that full membership isn't realistically possible anytime soon because of the, quote, countless hurdles and the strict ratification process. And talking to what Jay was asking about earlier, back in 2008, the euro hit a high against the dollar. So the euro was at $1.60 per $1 US dollar. And I looked it up today on Wise, and now $1 US dollar is only worth 86 cents of the euro. So it's fallen almost in half. And it's, you just see it, it's going to continue to plummet, which is raising the cost of living. They're in an energy shortage, and they're still falling all over Ukraine to just push this war with Russia. So again, it just goes back to we don't see anything good happening over there anytime soon.
To your point, I think the leaders of Europe really do believe they can spend their way out of the, let's call it, negligence of their economic policies. They think that going into debt further will save them economically from the debts being called. So defense, war.
And it's a good scapegoat for where the money went. And again, I think originally they thought this would be easy, and they looked at what the gold mine that is Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine was the food basket of the world.
Yeah.
And with their resources, if Ukraine wasn't so corrupt, they could have been one of the richest nations in the world.
Yep.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Zelensky.
he's got what is $10-15 million house in Florida, and then he's got another $10 million house in I forget if it's London, I don't know, I forget.
Yeah, I think he has a golden and platinum diamond laden parachute.
Yes. Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about my favorite place on earth. It's the magical land in which I live.
And it's where I used to live.
Yes.
And
Brett too.
And Brett too. Yes. So
now I'm only one crazy enough to live here.
Yeah, no, but God's called you there, so you got to stay for now. For now.
California now produces more than 4 trillion in economic output, which is incredible because apparently every dollar enters Sacramento and Los Angeles through a Bermuda Triangle of waste, fraud, consulting fees, task force, environmental reviews, and someone's cousin's nonprofit. Los Angeles is the kind of city where you can generate world-class wealth, world-class talent, world-class innovation, and still hit a pothole so deep it qualifies as its own congressional district. Mayor Karen Bass insists she's doing a great job, which is fascinating because from where the average citizen sits, Los Angeles has more potholes, more tents, more trash, more pollution, and more people asking, where did all the money go? Mm-hmm. And there's the Pacific Palisades, still trying to rebuild while being slowly digested by the sacred machinery of red tape. Homes burned, families displaced, lives disrupted. But don't worry, somewhere in the city, a committee is forming, working a group of review preliminary frameworks for a future conversation about streamlining urgency. This is California government in one sentence: unlimited revenue, unlimited bureaucracy, and somehow nobody can find the guy to put down some asphalt.
No one.
Oh, California, you're burning through the green, spending like the devil in a limousine. Golden State, golden waste, watch the money fly away in the Santa Ana breeze. Wasting it all.
And Spencer Pratt, man, I was looking at how the voting, they're voting now, and one of the voting blocks was destroyed with the I forget, but one of them was just demolished, and he's like, hey, if you want, but anyway, so California, it generates 4 trillion, as you said, 4 trillion in annual gross domestic product. That makes it the 4th largest economy in the world. That's crazy. It routinely outpaces massive global economy powers. And I just wanted to preface this next story with that intel. I've been following the mayoral race because the mayor as well as the governor, they're demonically crazy people, both of them. They're insane. They're insane.
Oh, yes.
The mayor, Karen Bass, actually claims that LA streets are, this is a quote, safer than they've been since 1950s.
I challenge her to walk in Skid Row.
Unbelievable.
Skid Row down any LA street.
Unbelievable. Yes. I couldn't believe that claim. Bass was doing an interview with the interviewer and who said reality is our streets are safer than they've ever been than what? The 1950s? And Bass agreed. She's like, absolutely. And according to the LA Times, violent crime may be slightly declining the last few years, but they cook the books. But most of the voters are not satisfied. All right, mostly due to the ongoing homeless crisis, public drug use, and overall decline in city cleanliness. A study has showed that the majority of Los Angeles residents are less satisfied with their quality of life as this mayoral election looms. One observation: I think crime drops when you make it legal. So that's one area. All right. So remember how they said you can't steal over $100 and
$1,000. Yeah.
1,000. Yeah. So now, whatever. But also, DC did the same thing. Yeah. I don't know if you know that DC did the same thing. They just stopped reporting and making crime no longer a crime. Magic, right there. You got less crime. I call that cooking the books. But I think the stupid will still vote for her. More importantly, I think all elections are rigged anyway. So I don't have any faith. But I don't know what to say about. I can't believe that they've allowed the Palisades. I just can't believe it. And that's where Spencer Pratt was. That's where he was. He still has his camper up there. I think he still has his camper up there.
Yeah.
No, he went to Bel Air.
Oh, Bel Air.
They forced him to move to Bel Air, so he lives. Basically in Bel Air.
And that's right. That one commercial that he did.
Yeah, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I love the guy.
I have enjoyed Spencer Pratt's campaign, and
Yes.
the people who are working on his team
are unbelievable.
They are great, and they
are
have
so
a future.
good.
They have a future in not only politics but production.
Absolutely. And he's an animal guy too. And he's like he visited and what's the other girl's name? Nenia. Who's the other girl? The girl that's with
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. She's with Karen Bass, and they've become friends when they should be, kind of going at each other. And what's her name?
It
just shows it's all rigged.
Yeah, it is.
She's positioning so she can be somewhere in state city government.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, and you obviously mean Mrs. Rahman, right?
Yes, Rahman.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And she realizes that there's a lot of people that are animal people, and they're exposing a lot of the abuse, that the people on the street are causing their animals to, they're testing their drugs out on their animals, and it's just nuts. It's so sad.
If you would like to see firsthand the great job Karen Bass has done, go down to MacArthur Park.
Yeah.
And you will see the wonderful job that she has done in downtown Los Angeles.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And just a side note on that, like I had two separate clients. One, they both lived in Orange County, but they worked in LA. One was he still is. I don't train anymore. He's a Hollywood agent. And he went up to meet with the owner of the agency. And we're talking about they're going to a 5-star restaurant. And when he walked into the building, the owner of the agency goes, "Hey, you need to put your watch in the drawer and get it when we come back." And he's like, "Why?" And he goes, "People are walking into restaurants because they know they have $50,000 watches on, and in the restaurant, up at gunpoint and stealing their watches."
Wow.
And then one other quick one was I had a client that went to LA for his business and did get held up on the sidewalk for his watch at gunpoint.
Oh.
I mean, and those were the two clients that I had that actually worked in LA but lived in Orange County.
Wow. Wow.
Why do you think that I only leave if I have to?
Yeah. Oh, man.
That being said, I mean, it is dangerous, but there's a lot of work to be done. Obviously, there are people that would sooner rob or steal from you, but I'm going to tell you, there is so much work to be done just evangelizing and talking to people who are on the streets.
Yeah.
Especially in Los Angeles is a missionary's playground for people that need the gospel.
Yeah, you don't need to go overseas at all.
Nope.
Yep.
Our next story, in a move that feels less like national defense and more like someone rebooted the 1980s arcade game Missile Command with worse graphics and more corruption, Russia has decided it must preserve the sacred integrity of its financial institutions, hospitals, apartment blocks, restaurants, hotels. Yet, this is bad. These are apparently acceptable risk categories in the glorious management spreadsheet of Mother Russia. But banks? Now we've crossed the line. Suddenly the Kremlin has discovered moral urgency because nothing says civilization quite like arming bankers and telling them to shoot drones out of the sky between wire transfers. So congratulations, Russia. You have achieved the dream, a nation where hospitals may be vulnerable, restaurants may be expendable, but banks get air defense.
So you think you're a high-profile Russian banker? Well, now you've just had something else added to your resume. You would become part of the military defense for yourself and for Russia. After repeated Ukrainian drone strikes deep into Russian territory, Russia recently passed a new law allowing central bank, Severe Bank, and the Russian Cash Collection Association to now deploy their own drone defense system. This new law also allows the staff to be armed as well. Modern warfare is morphing into something completely different than anything we've seen before. Everything is becoming a battlefield, and the entire economy has been militarized. Banks, energy grids, payment systems, telecommunications, ports, railways, factories, data centers all become high-value targets. Modern society now depends on everything being interconnected. Ukraine has adjusted, and rather than fighting, because they know they can't win, they can't stand soldier to soldier and beat Russia. So they've switched tactics and are focusing on hitting with drones, on drone warfare, on hitting oil facilities, energy infrastructures, logistics centers, economic targets inside of Russia. The Guardian phrased it in an article that Russia is telling its banks, quote, shoot down the drones yourself. Severe Bank holds close to a third of Russian banking assets and is the pillar of the entire domestic financial system. The Russian central bank is the core of wartime financing, sanctions management, currency stabilization, and capital controls. Russia has pushed the digital ruble hard, but the digital system also becomes extremely vulnerable when we're dealing with drones in times of warfare, because if you take out the power grid, you basically take out their money. And the one thing that this article kind of got me wondering is this strategy the same that the U.S. is going to have a hard time with Iran? Is your average Patriot missile costs between $3.7 to $4.4 million. And those are the cheapest ones we have. We have others that go up to $20 million. Wow. And we're expending those to shoot down drones that only cost between $20,000 to $50,000. And these drones can be mass produced. The delivery date for a Patriot missile runs about 2 years. I looked it up. There's no exact numbers on how fast Iran can produce drones, but it's estimated that they can mass produce 150 to 250 drones per month, with some defense analysts believing that they could be made in days rather than months. Wow. And that is just a strategy. And it reminds me of, Kenny, I don't know if you saw the video. There was a video talking about how the U.S. defeated Germany in Africa and then also in Europe. And part of it was we were mass producing Jeeps to move people, to move weapons. And Germany couldn't believe how many Jeeps the U.S. was producing back then. And they kind of made fun of the Jeeps because they go, look at them. There's nothing special about them. And one of the heads of their defense department took apart the Jeep. And what they realized was, yeah, they were simple, but they were meant to be mass produced, decent quality. All the parts were interchangeable, and you only needed low skill laborers to produce them and to maintain them. Where in Germany, the amount of manpower, and you had to have highly skilled laborers to put together their vehicles and also to repair them. It took so long. So we were producing 18 to every one that the Germans were producing. Because they were just going strictly, the tanks too, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I just wondered, are we losing, where we had that advantage in World War II, or have we flipped the script where we're now spending millions to shoot down, drones? Yep. And that's just, good. It's something to be concerned about.
That's a good observation. Great observation, because back in World War II, man, we had the wherewithal to make and make and make and make. I mean, we had 40,000 tanks or something like that. I forget.
Yeah.
And they only had, I forget how many, they had the Tiger and the Panzer, and they were so heavy that they
it took so long to produce.
They couldn't mass produce them. They couldn't and we were mass producing. Yeah. We were throwing out the, what was the World War II?
Sherman.
Sherman. Yep. Sherman tank. Yep. We were throwing out, we have 40,000 of them. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good observation.
When you have 6-1 against one really high quality German tank, guess who wins? 6 guns.
Yeah.
The six do. Yep.
There was one German general that was quoted like, these Jeeps seem to come out of nowhere. No matter how many we take out, even more appear.
Yeah. How many total did they
18 to 1.
18 to 1.
18 to 1.
Wow.
Yeah. We were out producing Germany on vehicles 18 to 1.
Holy smokes. Whoa. Wow.
And I don't know what the ratio would be to drones to, Patriot missiles, but it may be even higher. It's probably even higher than that.
Yeah.
Just the cost alone. Between a Patriot missile and a drone.
Yeah.
The drone, the remote RC cost.
Yeah.
A Patriot missile, I don't know, millions of dollars, if not a couple hundred thousand.
That's what I said. The Patriot missile's the cheapest, and it's $3.7 million to $4.4 million, and takes 2 years to make.
Yeah.
Well, as the drone takes a couple months.
They said anywhere from days to a month.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Seems like somebody has learned the idea of overwhelming force.
Yeah.
Well, and to what Kenny brought up earlier about this World War III is not going to be like World War II.
No.
It's completely different warfare.
Yep.
All right. Well, we should move on to my former home state. A longtime Texas high school principal has resigned after a controversy involving Qurans, hijabs, and Islamic materials being handed out on campus by an outside group. Now, let's imagine the same school that allowed someone to hand out Bibles, crosses, and the Ten Commandment poster during lunch. The ACLU would rappel through skylights. The Southern Poverty Law Center would issue a 70-page report before the final bell. CNN would have a panel called "Is Texas Becoming a Theocracy?" And someone in a bow tie would be warning that Leviticus is now in the vending machine. But when it comes to Islam, suddenly everyone becomes very culturally sensitive.
Yes.
Would you like mint tea with your Ramadan accommodations? And that's the issue. Not that students should be forbidden from asking questions, but religion. Yeah. They should ask. They should read. They should compare. They should think. The issue is obviously a double standard.
Yep.
Ken.
Yep. And that's what we've been seeing is a longtime principal resigns after Islamic group distributes copies of the Quran at a Texas high school. So a longtime principal at a Texas high school has resigned following intense public scrutiny after an outside Islamic group distributed copies of the Quran and related materials on campus without proper approval. Wiley Independent School District accepted the resignation of Tiffany Dula, a principal who had served the district for 19 years. So the controversy erupted when materials from a Why Islam event, that's quote unquote, tied to School Muslim Student Association and World Hijab Day activities were handed out to students. So the distribution, which occurred without required district approval, sparked widespread parental outrage and national attention after a student shared a video of the incident on social media. Doolin informed Superintendent Kim Spicer of her resignation on May 26th, so just a couple weeks ago. In a statement, the district acknowledged procedural failures. From the beginning, the district acknowledged that the situation never should have occurred. Procedures are in place to prevent this situation from happening again. That was a quote. The district emphasized it does not promote any religion, of course. Criticism intensified after older photos resurfaced showing Doolin participating in a student-led World Hijab Day event by wearing a hijab. And this is like from years before. In her farewell message to students and families, Doolin described the choice as deeply personal. Quote, "As a principal and a parent, I know there is no greater responsibility than being entrusted with someone else's child." But you just
you're saying we missed National Hijab Day?
Yeah, we missed it, dude. I was looking to wear that one on one day this week, or one day this year. Yeah,
made out of bacon.
Yeah, and bacon. I got bacon in the freezer. Yeah. Got tons of bacon.
Do you guys remember the one required textbook when the educational system started in the U.S.?
What was it?
It was the Bible.
The Bible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the one required book that schools had to have.
I thought
can't even take it.
I thought you were going to say something about bacon. I thought it was bacon is my best friend. Or something. I thought it was like a little school book. I didn't know, but yeah, the Bible. Yep, it was. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, all these people that said, the U.S. was not found on Christianity, that is so untrue.
Please.
I mean,
yeah.
One could argue that one of the things that made America great was the moral foundation of the country. But, what do I know? I'm just believe in the flying spaghetti monster in the sky.
Right.
That's it.
Hey, I think it was Hitchens that said, "I don't like Christianity, but I want to live in a Christian country."
In a Christian country.
Yes.
He did say that.
Why is that?
Exactly.
Because he would be shish kebab in a Muslim country?
Yeah.
It would be. Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brett, Canada's government has apparently looked at the rising cost of hackers breaking into systems and said, you know what would solve this? Making sure government can break into them first. Bill C-22 is being sold as the modern lawful access tool because apparently nothing says cybersecurity like telling corporations, please make your customers' data easier to reach, but only for the good guys who will definitely remain the only people who are able to go through the secret door.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brett. Take on that one.
Okay. So when members of the U.S. Congress, cybersecurity professionals, and privacy experts, along with the Signal Network, all warn about user privacy, you should probably listen. But then when Apple, Google, and Meta join them, this is big. Canada's Bill C-22 could force tech companies to weaken their encryption while building government access mechanisms directly into their systems. Of course, the Canadian government is claiming this is all for, quote, public safety. And as long as you're not a criminal, you have nothing to worry about. The mayor of Brampton even testified before the Standing Committee on Public Safety and National Security and said, quote, for those who have privacy concerns, my message would be don't commit a crime. Kind of reminds me of Arnold when he said, F your freedoms.
Yeah. I remember that. Oh man.
During COVID.
Yeah.
So people that know what encryption does is it protects bank accounts, corporate systems, private medical data, government communications, journalists, descendants, businesses, lawyers, and even just regular citizens. Encryption is what makes online banking and investing safe from cyber criminals. Apple stated that Bill C-22 would, quote, force companies to break encryption by inserting backdoors into their products, unquote, possibly giving the government the ability to secretly order your device's microphones to be activated to eavesdrop inside your home on a mere, quote, reasonable grounds to suspect, unquote. There is no safe backdoor once the encryption is weakened and it becomes vulnerable to hackers, hostile governments, cyber criminals, and foreign intel agencies, all to exploit. The bill would also include a requirement for the companies to hold metadata for up to a year. And while they try to justify this, saying metadata doesn't actually contain the direct messages, but what it does reveal is everything from your social relationships, movement patterns, communication habits, financial behavior, political affiliations, and your entire personal networks.
So the
this
playbook,
is to go through.
so the complete playbook of your life.
Yes.
Yes. Everything you've ever done.
I was just
if this is to go through, there will be no turning back. The governments will only then try to increase more surveillance on everything we have. So basically, we just, see Canada is ahead of almost everybody. Europe's doing it too, is taking away any individual rights.
Sounds like a dystopian nightmare is right around the corner in our neighbors in the north.
All for our safety.
For our safety.
Yes.
Yep. Always.
Protect the kids.
Yeah.
Yes, because the kids have such a problem with their medical data being stolen and then being used to lobby taking other pharmaceuticals.
Absolutely.
Well, and if you remember too, it's like Canada closed bank accounts of people that just supported the truckers.
That's right.
During COVID.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We actually have a person very close to us that had that issue. Who's here basically because of that.
Wow.
They supported the truckers.
Wow.
So yeah, that's a government I would trust.
Yeah.
Canada.
No.
When is Alberta going to leave?
I don't know. They seem like it. They want to be the 53rd.
Bring it.
I don't think it'll happen.
I don't think it'll happen.
It'd be nice, but I'm not sure that's going to happen.
No.
Our next story. The world has apparently entered what experts are calling water bankruptcy, which is a comforting phrase because nothing calms the public like finding out that the planet has overdrafted its rivers, lakes, wetlands, aquifers, and glaciers. Nearly 3/4 of the global population now lives in countries under some level of water insecurity. Freshwater species have collapsed, aquifers are being drained, croplands are under stress, cities are sinking, and somewhere the writers of Tank Girl are asking why reality keeps stealing their material. We're told for years that people would eventually fight over water, and everybody laughed like that was science fiction. Well, congratulations. The future has arrived, and apparently it comes with bottled water that costs more than gasoline, a recycling lecture, and a $9 airport Dasani. Ugh, terrible water.
That's crazy. It's a perma-drought. And 75% of the global population lives in a country that is being affected by, it's called the Great Dying, D-Y-I-N-G. Our planet is drying out at the pace that is unlike anything we have ever seen before. Our once massive lakes are rapidly shrinking, once mighty rivers are steadily dwindling, and colossal underground aquifers are being pumped dry all over the world. This is the absolute enormous problem because it seems like very soon we will simply not have fresh water to support 8 billion people. So 8 billion plus people now. In fact, drought conditions are severely affecting global crop productions in 2026. If current trends continue, it will become increasingly difficult to grow food. In other words, if the land on the planet doesn't stop drying out, there's going to be no way we will be able to avoid an era widespread global famines. Now, this isn't something that just started happening recently. Over the last several decades, the world has been losing fresh water at an unprecedented rate. Just look at what's happened, for example, to the Great Salt Lake. So I don't know if I didn't know it was down that much, but once upon a time, it was an absolute gigantic, it was crazy. But now it has lost approximately 73% of its water and approximately
Wow.
60% of its surface area. That's crazy. And our water has gone down up here in northern Arizona. Of course, that sounds like just an example, but it's not, obviously, and not just happened in the U.S. One study found that 75% of the population of the world currently lives in a country that is being affected by continental drying. 6 billion people live in nations that are steadily drying out. I was stunned when I first read that. I was like, "Whoa!" We aren't just talking about a few isolated deserts. A UN report is telling us that, excluding Antarctica, drylands are now account for more than 40% of all the land on this planet. More than 3/4 of all land on this planet has been getting drier over the last 30 years. Most of us have just come to accept that drought is a normal part of life. Right now, more than 60% of the continental U.S. is experiencing at least some level of drought. Just a personal sidebar, like I was saying, up here in northern Arizona, we had no winter, zero. We had zero winter. We had zero snow. We usually have 8-10 days, sometimes more, of snow, and we had zero snow this year, zero. And I know that people in other areas can say the same. Colorado, my wife's dad's in Colorado, and he's talking about the same thing. So some areas that are being hit from the hardest are where we grow our food. In particular, wheat farmers in the U.S. are having a very challenging time this year. What we are supposed to do besides pray the Lord's provision. What are we supposed to do? But if it doesn't rain, it doesn't rain. But unfortunately, it's being projected that the wheat harvest in the U.S. will be down by 21% compared to last year. That simply won't be as much wheat as normal in 2026. Kansas is a key producing state that a lack of rain has created nightmare conditions in much of the state. We just experienced the driest first 3 months of the year ever recorded in the United States. That's really saying something. That's crazy. 3 months. And in addition to seemingly endless drought, U.S. farmers are also facing much higher prices with diesel and fertilizer. So, yes, we are facing a catastrophic scenario, but as of now, most of the population is still pretending that everything is going to be just fine. So most of us are continuing to party as things rapidly get worse all around them. So again, Maranatha, I'm just looking at, I don't know when it all comes to a head, but it's getting close. It's getting close.
Ken, forgive me if I'm wrong, but let's see if my math's right here. Dry conditions, drought, crop failures, winds, Dust Bowl?
Dust Bowl. Yep. Like 1930s. So it's another, it's
1930s.
Yeah,
What?
exactly. Or 20s. What was it? 20, when was it was 29 was the depression. So was it in the 30s or it was 2025, right? Trying to think when was the Grapes of Wrath written?
1930s.
1930s.
So wait.
Very-
Did okay, we have an economic collapse from one of our stories in Europe in the 30s.
Yep.
And we have Dust Bowl conditions in the United States in the 30s, maybe.
Yeah.
Did somebody decide that they're going to read Revelation and try to recreate the conditions of Wormwood?
I was just about to say the Revelation 7, it talks about, that's when I believe the rapture happens, and you guys believe it too. But I think it describes the rapture, and it talks about how we don't have to, Revelation 7:16, we were just looking at it before in the pre-show, and it talks about how the heat, people were they don't have to, suffer because of the heat. And it was, and that's, after they get out of here.
And right before that, we have the famines and
the famines. Yeah.
A day's wage for maybe a little tiny bread cake.
Yep. It's crazy.
Interesting times in which we live. Brett,
yes, they are.
For our final story. In medical news, we apparently are approaching the glorious day when whistleblowing may be treated less like courage and more like a billable condition. You notice fraud? Disorder. You question bad medical practice? Disorder. You ask why pharmaceutical companies made $14 billion while the side effects list sounds like a book of Revelation? Congratulations, you may be suffering from unapproved pattern recognition syndrome. The treatment plan is simple. Antidepressants, institutional lighting, three meals a day through a straw, and if you're lucky, a little electroshock therapy, because nothing says we value your concerns like trying to reset the part of your brain that notices the spreadsheet doesn't add up. And remember, it's not censorship if they diagnose you first.
So Nicholas Wagner is a widely published doctor in biophysics. He's published books on cancer, on all sorts of things. Just brilliant young doctor. He was forcibly detained under Canada's psychiatric interview laws after he voiced concerns about the financial system, about patent disputes, institutional corruption, and alleged fraud in financial engineering concepts. I don't know if you guys, the video went viral. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he was actually pulled over by a cop, and the cop said, "Hey, I have a doctor. He needs to talk to you." The doctor goes to him, and basically he just goes, "I've never been diagnosed. I haven't seen anybody." The doctor on the spot says, "You know what? You need to go to the get a psyche valve." And all without, he was detained all without an evaluation that needed to be sent, and was sent to the psychiatric detention evaluation against his will in Vancouver General Hospital under British Columbia's Mental Health Act. This was all based, and this is where it gets crazy, is this was all based on a certification from a psychiatrist, Dr. Christine Taylor, who had allegedly observed him in a cafe weeks earlier, but never actually consulted with him. All without a direct in-person exam. He claims he has been cleared by other medical professions. This happened on May 23rd. And then he actually was able to take a video somehow. I don't know if it was on his phone or someone else's, and posted proof I'm still here on May 24th. Well, as of today, he's still being detained. After he was taken in as of now, still being held against his will, Canada has built one of the most extensive psychiatric interview systems in the Western world. Authorities can legally detain people for psychiatric evaluations if they are considered a danger to themselves or others, although the threshold is subjective and no actual incident needs to have happened. Police, doctors, or a family member can make a complaint or is enough to have you taken away to a hospital, and you can legally be held for 48 to 72 hours, depending on the territory in which you are. And that can be extended by medical authorization. So obviously this guy, they're still extending it.
Wow.
So doctors and administrators now hold the power that would normally require a court proceeding. And so it's just another way Canada, and you're going to see this across the West, hopefully not in the US, but that we need to, rise up and make our voices heard that this doesn't happen. Because basically just someone made a complaint and that's all they need. And, how much detail do they do if it really was a family member, or it said it can be police or anybody else. So, you're reporting kind of like Nick Shirley, California,
Yeah. And now they have the Nick Shirley Act. It's like got his name in it. And then did you hear about the girl that was reporting on water that was messed up? It was cloudy or whatever, and she was reporting on it, and she got arrested. She got arrested for reporting on water. I forget where that was, but she said she was just asking questions. She was like, "It's like, what's going on? This water?" And everybody knew it was the water was brown. The water was coming out of a faucet brown. And she goes, and this is the water, and she's on Facebook showing this is the water that came out of my faucet, and something's going on, blah, blah, blah. She got arrested. And
That's called misinformation.
yeah. They said it was, but she's like, here's the water that just came out. She turned on the faucet, filled up her thing, and showed it. It was like totally brown, and then she got arrested. It was crazy.
It's
Come, Lord
insane.
Jesus.
Yeah, come Lord Jesus. I think it's coming here, and I think it's just in little
behind.
Yeah.
And that's why I say we need to speak out now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it'll make a difference, but at least, we're going to voice our opinion.
Yeah.
It's very interesting that you say that, Brett, because our verse of the week is this. But how are they to preach unless they are sent? Just as it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring the good news of good things. So how would people know the truth unless someone is willing to speak the truth and take the slings and arrows of the truth? If you don't mind, I'm going to ask you, Ken, can you give a word of encouragement this week, all things considered?
We need to just open our eyes to things, and I just pray that teachers and other preachers start sharing this truth, and help us stand firm in the faith, Lord. Please help us stand firm in the faith, and bless us for the week, and just watch over us. And I don't think anything. I look at all this stuff and I laugh, like we always laugh. Because I'm really looking forward to the millennium and heaven and all this stuff. So, but just everybody, just relax and enjoy. It's coming. Stuff is coming. But yeah, it's awesome.
Our redemption draws nigh.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Brett, Ken, thank you so much for being here this week again. I hope to see you very soon to continue doing this show. And please, if you are enjoying the show, best way you can help support us, leave a like, comment, even share it with other people. We'd love more people to be able to enjoy this show. So thank you. Till next time we meet, God bless.